The draw of yesterday between Bologna and Napoli could be seen, or is probably seen by a lot of Juventini, like a total disaster. Is it really like that? I want to give my opinion about that, then I want to speak also slightly about Antonio Conte before going back to Juve and speaking about our calendar, speaking about the ultra-offensive Juve that Tudor has in mind because he's looking for goals, and then Mercato in, Mercato out, and some loan players that we need to speak about, Conceição, Colomani, Renato Vega. Not a long video, I will try to keep it short, but a lot of things to say, so if you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. When I'm saying welcome back, well, it's welcome back to all of you, but though the new ones, welcome to the channel. I hope that I will be able to convince you that this is a fantastic channel and home for Juventini, even if today we'll speak a lot about Juve, but also about something else. Pay attention. Gazzetta dello Sport is starting with l'Inter Sogna. Inter is dreaming, we know it, When Juventus is not winning the scudetto, when Juventus is not participating to win competitions, there is one thing that is even worse, is when we see our cousins, the Nerazzurri, in Italy. When we see the Nerazzurri that are still in the run for one competition, two competition, especially if they are in the run for all the competitions. They are in the run with a +3 because of the draw of Napoli yesterday in Serie A with 7 games to play. Semi-final Coppa Italia because of the 1-1 with Milan. They are in the run for the Champions League, playing today against the half team of Bayern Munich, a total disaster. Anyway, hopefully something will go wrong somewhere. I think that I know where something can possibly go wrong, and I will tell you in a second. Look, about the draw of Napoli yesterday, there are two versions. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying Napoli stop, and it's true that they stopped, because yesterday they could have been at -1 from Inter. On the other side, I agree much more with Corriere dello Sport. He's saying Napoli regge. Napoli is resisting. And it's an important one. Because if you look at the game of yesterday, probably Bologna deserved a bit more, especially in the second half, to win the game against Napoli. They resisted, like they resisted in a lot of games. Because if you're looking just purely at the stats, in the last 10 games, only 3 wins, 6 draws, 1 loss. You will tell me, Beppe, this is not a run for winning the Scudetto. This is not a run that is actually paired to the level of Antonio Conte. What is he doing? Is he really the man that we need next season? Because it's not possible that when he's not happy, Mercato, Kvaratskhelia out, Okafor in, he's throwing everything away. How is it on earth possible? It's always the same mistake. Antonio Conte is going turbocharged. Let's go. When everything is beautiful, from the moment that he's not agreeing with something, when there are some discussions with the ownerships, with the management, etc., he goes totally crazy and he's throwing away, kamikaze, harakiri. Why is he always doing that, something like that? Why is he auto-destructive? But if you are looking in detail, guys, look at the 10 last games. He played against Juve, Roma, Lazio, Inter, Fiorentina, Milan, Bologna. In 10 games, he played against the 7 other big teams of Serie A. He played all of them. And he lost only one time. Is it a coincidence that he only lost against Como? The only team that probably he didn't motivate his guys the same level as the other games, because probably the guys, or he probably motivated them, but he was unable to enter their head because they thought that this was an easier win on paper, Como, because they come from results where they were absolutely not losing. I don't know. I think that the title of resisting, Napoli resisted yesterday, and not only, I think it's a good one, because at the end they are still at -3. And if we are looking at the calendars, well, the last 7 games, Inter has on paper a much more difficult calendar than Napoli. Inter still needs to play Bologna, Roma, Torino, Lazio, Como in the last day, Como that is doing quite well, that won against Napoli. Pay attention, while Napoli, they have much more easier games. Empoli, Monza, Torino, Lecce, Genoa, Parma, Cagliari. Everything can happen in football, but today, I tell you, even if yesterday they didn't win, Napoli has a slightly more chance to win the Scudetto. And honestly, I would be happy. I don't want Inter to win the Scudetto. Then, we will see. Inter, guys, I told you, is the strongest team of Serie A. They should win it. I think that Napoli can do it. Anyway, let's switch towards you. Why am I telling that? Of course, I'm speaking about Scudetto, I'm speaking about Juventus, not seeing Interisti celebrating. Of course, I'm speaking about Antonio Conte, that a lot of Juventini they want. That probably they will say, he lost that mojo. Did he lose the mojo? He's still at -3, with all the big games that he already played. But switch to Juve. Yesterday, of course, Bologna not losing means that they have one more point, the same that the Juve, so we remain equal in terms of distance. We are back 5th, 56 points. We have 1 point less than Bologna at 57, 2 points less than Atalanta. We have 1 point more than Lazio, we know it. 6 teams for 2 spots, and that's the huge big difference with the past. In the past, we were speaking about 1 spot only available. After Inter, Napoli, and Atalanta, there was 1 spot for 5-6 teams. Well, now there is 2 spots available, and that's the good news of today. The other good news is that on paper, and guys, I'm speaking on paper, Juventus has the most easy calendar on paper, which means totally nothing in football. We know it. Look at our beginning of the season where we were losing points against a lot of these teams. But Juventus, if they are able to do the job against Lecce, Parma, Monza, I'm not saying that it will be mathematical, I will not saying that it's official, but Juventus has much more chances than the other ones to say, okay, we did what we have to do. We can possibly calculate, which is a thing that you never have to do in football. Against Bologna or Lazio, you could potentially lose 1 or 2 points here, 1 or 2 points there, to put the machine again back against Udinese and Venezia to finish the season. So Juventus has a huge big opportunity in winning the next 3 games, easier said than done, to have said, okay, we did half of the job to qualify to Champions League, especially with 2 slots available. Look at the calendar of Atalanta, that is, according to me, risking really a lot after 3 games. Without win, without drawing, 0 points in 3 games. Look, Bologna, Milan, Lecce, Monza, Roma, Genoa, Parma. Look at Bologna, not easy, eh? Atalanta, Inter, Udinese, Juve, Milan, Fiorentina, Genoa. So a lot of tough games there. Lazio, Roma, Genoa, Parma, Empoli, Juve, Inter, Lecce. So I think that Juve and Lazio, they have more or less the same calendars, even if it's a bit more easier for Juve on paper. Then let's see, of course. But that's what I think. I think, prediction of today, that of course, if I'm wrong, you will clip it and you will mock me, especially the anti-Juve fans. But I think that today that Napoli has more chances to win the scudetto than Inter, and that Juve, if they don't make it to the 4th spot, they will finish 3rd. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Then, I can be wrong. Of course, I can be wrong. Now, to do so, we need some goals, because Genoa, bravo, we won. Roma, we didn't win, a draw, but we did much better than in the past. Tudor effect, intensity, aggressivity, but in the end, 1 goal there, 1 goal here, that's it. We need to score. And of course, the one that is the most blamed at the moment is Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan Vlahovic that, yes, is increasing in terms of trust received by his coach, but he's not performing. The performances are still the same. If you're looking at the duels loss against Genoa, we were speaking about it immediately after the game. Well, he won 2 duels on 13 on the ground against Genoa, 0 on 7 against Roma, and that's only the duels. If you're looking at the shots towards the goal, 2 against Genoa, 1 against Roma, a sloppy one, not a real dangerous one. It was the one really centrally that he didn't see actually the possibility to go on the right side. Anyway, it is what it is. He's not doing well. So what can Tudor do putting on the bench? On the other side, we know that Colomani, it's not that he entered really well. We didn't see him against Genoa. So instead of doing that, it looks like Tudor has something in mind. Helping Vlahovic even more, supporting him, backing him up, not only to help Dusan Vlahovic, because at the end, it's not that he cared that much about Dusan, but he cares about the results of Juve, and Juventus are obliged to go with goals, scoring goals, and that's why he's thinking about Dusan Vlahovic, Colomani, Yildiz, and Nico Gonzalez. You will tell me, Beppe, are we going back to a 4-2-3-1, basta? No. That's not what he's thinking about. He's thinking to confirm, of course, the defense, because these are the men that we have, and they gave some solidity, they gave some beautiful feelings to Tudor with Di Gregorio, Kalulu, Renato Vega, and Lloyd Kelly. Then we continue with Nico Gonzalez back as a right wing back. The game that he played against Genoa was an important one for him. He enjoyed that one. not only the player but also the coach. Locatelli, Thuram in the middle, Cambiaso or McKennie, depending on the level of condition of Cambiaso, on the left side of the field, where behind Dusan Vlahovic we could see Colomwani and Yildiz. And that would be an ultra-offensive Juve to play against Lecce in our home. A Juve that is obliged not only to win, but also to convince and being able to not only score one goal that could in football not be enough, but scoring much more, because now we need to convince, we need to put that boost inside us, that confident boost that we can do much more than what we did against Genoa. That was the only first game of Tudor. Now, of course, we need to count on some players like Colomwani, that didn't enter really well against Roma, that disappeared a bit of the radar, not playing at all against Genoa. And then apparently the rumors are saying that there are already talks with Paris Saint-Germain to tell we have absolutely no intention to renew the loan or to go with an offer to an obligation to buy, whatever the formula is. And apparently Colomwani is not 100% in the project now. He already gave up a bit. We know it, how much he was wanted by Thiago Motta, the impact that he had when he joined Juve. And also if you look at this only interview that he did with Serie A, with Juve, speaking about how much he enjoyed the love, the support, being happy in a place where he's loved. He was not expecting that impact, that love, but he was feeling really happy. Well, a Colomwani that is not being loved anymore, where Thiago Motta is not there anymore, where we don't trust anymore, well, Juventus has probably absolutely no intention to put 60 million euro on the table for a Colomwani. Now the big one, the big test will be on Saturday against Lecce, because if you play him and if he totally ghosts, if totally disappears because he's already with his mind in, I don't want to get injured because I want to go back to Paris Saint-Germain, maybe to convince also Luis Enrique that it was my fault, but now I'm ready to fight and maybe I will receive a chance, or maybe going towards another team, that's something that we will have answers on the field immediately there. Of course, it was a risk to go with a lot of loany players towards the end of the month. I think that I said that a few months ago. I said pay attention with that formula of a lot of loan players, because if their future is not certain, you have different answers of players. A human is a human. It can be different in way of understanding things, of how you translate them on the field. Like Renato Vega, I have absolutely no doubt that the player will give everything until the last moment. I spoke about it with Luca Monblano. He said at the moment 20% that he will play the World Cup with Juve, 80% that he will play with Chelsea, but no chances for him to stay with Juve also next season. The feeling that he had there. Of course, we will have more news towards the month of May. Now, Juventus, they actually made sure that the player increased in value, because it was a player where nobody knew really well what was his real position with Chelsea. He was not playing a lot because the question marks. Well, it's a player that we gave him an importance, we gave him a window, we gave him visibility, so he increased in value. If Juve will knock at the door of Chelsea, they will say, oh, you want him, really? Give us 40-45 million euro. Is 40-45 million euro what you want to spend for Renato Vega? I would personally not do it, even if I really like the guy. But I'm sure that he will give his best until the last day that he will be with Juve. And what about Conceição? Well, we made a video about it yesterday. A long video where we spoke about Conceição as well, with that post, etc., etc. But today, Conceição is more, we will not go and buy the clothes, then yes, we will do it, because the plans changed. Now, don't forget about the importance of finishing top 4, which makes that our things are much more complicated. You cannot anticipate, you cannot promise to Colomwani, to Renato Vega, to Conceição that they will stay here, because at the moment we don't know. Like today I hear about Ademola Lookman. Today I hear about Jonathan David. Important targets about Juve. Fabrizio Romano was again confirming the interest of Juve for the Atalanta guy. And of course, it's a fantastic player. Like Jonathan David, for free, even if there are bonuses and the agent. But it's still appetitable. It's still an attractive player. I think that at the end, Jonathan David has big chances to join Juve, because I don't think that Dusan Vlahovic will remain at Juve next season. It's a beautiful opportunity. Let's see what the competition will do, like Premier League clubs that are interested in Lookman, but also in Jonathan David. Barcelona, what are their financial problems at the end of the summer, because we always know their financial problems. But I think that Jonathan David has bigger chances to join Juve. What about Lookman? the interest from Lookman to join Juve is there. Huh? Why not? But of course, Premier League is calling. Will Juventus be able to put again a lot of money after the Koopmanners deal of last summer? Big questions. I think it's a bit early to speak too much about that because we know it. Huh? Without Champions League, without certainty of Champions League, it's blah 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 that we will cover every single day, of course, because it's important to anticipate. But certainties at the moment, calma. So let me know what you think about the run for the scudetto, even if Juventus is not there. Even if yesterday I received a direct message from someone that made a calculation to finish like the 5 Maggio, calma. So don't count Juve in the run for the scudetto, but where will Juventus end at the end of the season? Let me know in the comment section. I'm really, really curious to read you. Grazie, forza, Juve.